I'm here with my buddy Cam at Phoebe's Diner, and we're just going to talk a little bit about restaurant and what makes it cool. I've watched you guys from when you opened to what you've done now, and I've seen like it's just such a popular restaurant. Every time I come by here, it's packed, and there's always like the parking lot's full. Tell me, what makes Phoebe? What makes everyone want to come to Phoebe's Diner?
I mean, we make everything from scratch. I've cooked fine dining. I owned a food trailer. I've done ACL. I've done all the local stuff. I've been in the Austin area since 2002. Cooked everywhere, cooked everything. So we're just kind of bringing that like culinary vibe to a breakfast spot. You know, all the culinary creations we've done in the past, the technique, we're bringing that to bacon and eggs. We're bringing that to biscuits and gravy. You know.
What do you mean? Tell me about the bacon and eggs, biscuits and gravy. What's different?
It's not like the biscuits are not traditional. Like biscuit is a method of baking. Like the steps of cutting the butter into the flour, adding the liquid. It can be whatever you want it to be. You can add, you know, cheese, chilies, whatever it is. So here we make it a little looser than normal. So it comes out more like a fluffy cake batter. We bake them in big trays, so it's like a nice big pillow. And then we cut it into squares. You know, they're not your standard like flaky, dry, buttery biscuit, which I'm a huge fan of too. It's just we do it a little bit different here, and we don't cut them into. We don't have the ring cutter because we go through hundreds of biscuits a day. So we would literally just have a room of nothing but somebody just cutting circle biscuits all day. So and the way it comes out, it bakes and just the crust is on the outside. So every biscuit doesn't have the crust on the outside of it. It's just like fluff. We use thick, like half-inch slab bacon here. Each piece of bacon weighs like 7 ounces. So
half-inch thick bacon.
Yeah, like slab. So it's just like thick, almost pork belly-ish, but it's cured, it's smoked, all that jazz. And we have the red-eye gravy, which is, you know, Tabasco and coffee. It's the idea of the ranch hand on the plains that's hung over and has to get up at sunset. You know, they throw some coffee and some hot sauce and get the day going, you know what I mean? Like right now we have charred tomatoes, the smokers are going, we have briskets, we have ham, we have beets, we have tomatoes for a smoked tomato salsa. It's a little bit more than your traditional breakfast, I guess you could say. We have a dish called a cheeky monkey, which it's essentially just Scotch egg, which a Scotch egg is a soft-boiled egg or a hard-boiled egg, depending on where you're from. And then we wrap it in our breakfast sausage, which we mix here with cheddar cheese and potatoes. We crust it in a gluten-free panko to get the outside and then we fry it. So you cut into it and it's kind of got like a soft-boiled egg on the inside, sausage, and then we serve that with our sage gravy. So it's a take on a classic dish, and we just spin it a little bit and turn it into a breakfast dish. My last meal would be biscuits and gravy. You know, like I grew up on it. It's one of my favorite things to eat. I could eat it every day. And the biscuits we make here, I've made, I don't know how many different styles of biscuits I've made, and I'm a fan of all of them. But the ones we make here are pretty special, so I would probably go with that. There's a lot of great stuff. Like the smoked beet hash, I'm a big veggie guy. The smoked beet hash is amazing. I would eat that every day. But again, like biscuits and gravy is probably one of my favorite things on the planet. So,
I know being a chef is an incredibly hard job, and I know you've done it for a long time. Why is it that you love doing what you do?
You kind of go through like different stages through your career as a young chef. You know, you're excited to learn everything, try everything, cook everything, and when you've been doing it for a long time, you know, you have to try new things. You have to keep yourself on your toes. And I get a lot of enjoyment of teaching people right now because I've been doing it for so long. I like teaching people why things work, like the science of cooking. There's a lot of science in cooking, you know, how to balance the palate, all of that sort of stuff. Ultimately, it's fun. You know, breakfast was a very special meal for my family growing up. It's when, you know, my dad was an entrepreneur, he was working all the time, but that's the one day that we were all home together, and he cooked a lot of breakfast. My mom cooked a lot. My grandmother, you know, that's where a lot of the culinary passion comes from. And breakfast was a very just like, we were all there. So some of the dishes that we do here are spins and takes on what they would make, or you know, a lot of the dishes here are based on a couple of the dishes. One dish in particular is literally like one of my wife's favorite things, sweet, you know, so how do I take that kind of more of a dinner sort of dish and spin it into something that's more breakfast brunch, you know what I mean? So it's taking, you know, why not eat short ribs for breakfast? Why not, you know what I mean? Like, why not have a pork chop? You know, it's like you can take those ideas that you would get at like a steakhouse or something like that, and it's like, how can I spin that and make it into something that you could have for breakfast and lunch?
It sounds like the concept of this and really everything around it is really personal to you.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the creation of this alone was, you know, my wife and I wanted to have a family. So, you know, and I wanted to be a dad that was there. And in this industry, it's pretty challenging to do that, you know, and then a lot of times it's when you're married in this industry, even before kids, it's like 2 shifts in the night, you know what I mean? Like, you know, they call them day walkers back in, you know what I mean? Like the people that work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then there's those of us that go to work at, you know, 8, 9, 10, noon maybe, but then we work till 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's 2 shifts in the night, and you just have to find the time and make that special. But yeah, this is a special concept. You know, my daughter is Phoebe. You know,
so that's where the name's from.
Yeah. So she was born literally like, I think it was literally 3 weeks. I say 2 weeks, but I think on a calendar, if we look at it, it's 3 weeks before we open this restaurant.
I think it's special that you've been able to put this together and have a life. You know, like there comes a point where your family comes first. At least that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty fortunate here, especially over the last, you know, year and a half with COVID and everything that's been going on. It's been you know, doing this for 20 plus years, a lot of us learned a lot of new things over the last year and a half, and all the challenges that we're still incurring as, you know, we'll call it collateral damage, or as a chain reaction of everything that's happening right now. So yeah, we've been pretty fortunate, you know. We have a good following. We have a lot of regulars, and yeah, it's been incredible to watch this thing grow over the last. My daughter will be 4, so almost 4 years of this place growing too.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much. And I know you promised me you take me back there to see some food getting made. You want to go show us something?
Yeah, let's go put something together. We're gonna make the smoked beet hash. There are smoked beets,